Good morning, how are you? You can probably hear some quacking in the background. That's Pablo. I'll tell you about Pablo in a minute. If you don't follow me on Instagram or on TikTok, you've probably got no idea who Pablo is. I often feel that when I do YouTube, that everyone that follows me on YouTube also follows me on Instagram and on TikTok, and that I don't need to give as many updates. But actually, I've realised over the past few months that there's quite a few of you that follow me on here that don't follow me on any of the other channels, so you've got no idea kind of what's going on. And I did have a message a couple of months ago that basically said, whoa, like what's happened? The last time you did a YouTube video, you were renovating your house with your husband and now you've got a boyfriend. So I'm sorry if that's been very confusing to a lot of you. I thought I would give you a little bit of a life update on this video whilst I'm chopping some fruit and veg for the duck, Pablo, who's not staying, by the way. He's just a temporary resident in the house, but we've loved having him. So I don't really know where to start, to be honest. I guess I haven't given much information about my divorce on any of my social media channels because it's very private. I've got 2 children who are obviously involved in everything, and it's not something that they want to hear me talking about on here. So I'll give you a brief run through. We were married for 20 years. We met when we were very young. We've had an amazing 20 years. We've got 2 amazing children. But 2 years ago, we decided to separate. There was several things that I think we just basically drifted apart. We changed as people. When you meet someone when you're 19, you're a completely different person than you are when you're 45. So we didn't probably make enough time for the 2 of us. We had lots of fun with the kids and we did lots of things, but we probably did let that side of things slip. And I think we both got to a point where we just felt things weren't working. It was my decision primarily, and I think now, 2 years down the line, we both agree that it's the right decision. We're both very happy. He's moved on, I've moved on, the kids are happy. The kids are old enough, they understand, and I think they'd rather live in a household that's harmonious. So I have met someone else. It was someone that I was friends with for quite a few years, about 3 years before we actually got together. And I think that's probably the best way to meet someone, because we got to know each other as friends and we knew a lot about each other, and then decided to go on a date. He was going through a similar separation to what I was, and yes, we're extremely happy. So that's where we are at the minute. Very brief life update for you. I get a lot of questions about the house and things like that, so I'll go into that in a little bit more detail, and also just how I've kind of got through, I guess, these past 2 years, because there has been times when it has been super stressful. I mean, that is a very short version. Obviously, a lot has gone on. All I would say is that if you're in a similar position, then sometimes it's harder to walk away than it is to stay together. And as I said, we are both extremely happy now and glad that we've moved on. It does take time. It doesn't happen overnight. There's a lot of difficult hoops to jump through. So it's easy for me to talk about this now, 2 years later, than it was when it was all very raw. So I often get asked about the house, like how I'm managing or what happened with the house. So I'll go into that in a little bit more detail, because I think that might help if anybody is in like a similar situation to me. I also want to go through some of the routines that I've done day in, day out that has really helped me. It got me through this difficult stage. I'm going to introduce you to Pablo. Hold on, let me just wash my hands. Here he is. He's very much a duck now. We got him when he was a duckling. I'm going to put some pictures on the screen actually of how little he was. He seems to have grown overnight. So basically the kids came home with him one night. One of their friends had rescued him from work, and he'd had him for about 3-4 weeks, and he couldn't look after him any longer. So Jersey came home and she was like, we've got a duck. I was like, no, we're not keeping a duck. And we obviously fell in love with him. And since then, he's been living here, haven't you? And he poos a lot. Don't you? But we love him. He's gorgeous. The long and short of it is that, in fact, I'm just going to put him down. We don't have enough space here to keep him. We would love to keep him. I love him. I love having him around. He's adorable. But he poops for England. So I'm literally, you know, I pop out of the kitchen, come back in 10 minutes later, and there's probably at least 10 poos around. Like, he poops all the time. Also, we just haven't got the grounds. We've got a small backyard. I don't know where to keep him. It needs water, so he needs a pond. We could build a pond there, and we could turn one of the outer buildings into a house for him. But I just worry that it'll be just poo everywhere, and he needs some friends. So we've been looking at different options. It can't be released into the wild because it's not used to that, and it would just get eaten alive. So I had someone that got in contact on Instagram who's got 3 ducks. She's got some bunnies and she's got some hens, and she's offered to take him. So we went to have a look there last week. I'll put some clips on in here for you, and it's perfect. She's got lots of land for them to graze. She's got a nice sized pond, and then this is their little house, which is very, very cute. So we just need to work out when he's going to go over there. I need to try and work out how we're going to do the transition, looking towards the end of the week to do that. So yeah, that's a very brief update on what's happening with him. But for his breakfast, he likes to have some kale, some strawberry and some watermelon right now, along with his normal food and a big bowl of water. So it's a Tuesday morning. It feels very autumnal today, hence why I've got a jumper on, but I also have to have the door open at the minute for the duck to be in and out. So I'm wrapped up a little bit. I've got myself a new set of microphones. I've not worked out how to use them yet because I do intend on doing much more YouTube content. So you will have to bear with me, but it is something that I'm definitely going to start doing more of. I need to work these out. I also need to send a few emails. That's another big change for me this year. I was working with someone, like management, used to deal with all my invoicing, she used to deal with all my emails, and she used to do some outreach and things like that. And we used to sit and have like team meetings and stuff. We'd been working together for about 3 years, and there was lots of changes within that time. I decided to let her go in January, and I've been doing all that side of things myself. So as well as the editing and the filming and the content creation and the concepts and everything like that, I've kind of been keeping on top of all the admin side of it. So it's been a little bit hectic, but actually it's quite nice having the control back. I have really enjoyed that side of things. Right, I must get on with these emails. The sun's come out now, so I've taken my jumper off because it's really warm. I've just come upstairs, and I thought I would talk you through some of the non-negotiables that have really got me through the past couple of years. But also, I am now 45, and I've accepted that I have to take care of myself a lot more. So one of the non-negotiables, which I just feel has helped my skin tone, elasticity, it just feels like every time I use it, it just glows afterwards, and that is Current Body LED Light Therapy Mask. So I had the series 1 start off with, and I've been using that probably for maybe about 6 months, I would say, and literally 10 minutes, probably 4 times a week, and it has made such a difference. So I've upgraded to the series 2, which has got an improved chin strap here. So it targets kind of this area under here, and also it's got 3 different intensities of lights. So what they've done is they've put the higher intensity LEDs around your mouth and underneath your eyes, the areas that are prone to showing more signs of aging. And I just love it. It's funny because I was at an influencer event down in London not long ago, and we went for coffee afterwards, and I was talking about it with one of the other girls, and she swears by it as well. She uses hers before she goes out. She puts hers on in the morning. I generally use mine at night time, and what I'll do is I'll take all my makeup off, and then just before I'm getting in bed, I'll just put this on for 10 minutes. But I've also got this one as well, which is for your chest area. I wasn't 100% sure about this at first, but this is an area here which I think really shows signs of age in women. It can start to kind of get wrinkly. So this is brilliant, and it's got some of the stronger LEDs around this area here. So all you do is you just fasten it around. I filmed this earlier while I was using it actually. But you just fasten it around your neck like this. It's super easy. It's just got a Velcro strap which Velcros at the back, and that sits there. It's really, really comfortable. Next, I just put the face one on. And this, again, it just Velcros around the back just like this. Super, super comfortable. And it's not too restrictive. Like I sometimes read a magazine. Sometimes I'll put it on and then just kind of tidy up the last bits from the day. So start to put clothes away and things like that. You can just hook the little controllers onto your clothes. Sometimes I'll just sit there listening to my subliminal and just lie, and it's so relaxing. And then I take it off and then I just put my eye cream on and my moisturizer and then get into bed generally. My skin is just glowing. Every time I see my friends at the minute, they're like, your skin is gorgeous, and I swear it's down to this mask. It improves collagen, feels so much more plump. If you've got any spots, like I have the odd breakout, I've got one here at the minute, I feel as though if I put that on the next morning, it's just dried up completely. And I also feel that it's really helped with pigmentation, because I've had some sun damage around here, and that just seems to have improved so much underneath my eyes. Honestly, I cannot recommend these masks enough. I know they're a bit of an investment, but to use them, like I said, 4 times a week for 10 minutes, and just to have this instant effect. I often thought that you couldn't use them on holiday or when you've been in the sun, because obviously we've had a really nice summer and I was a bit worried about using it, but it's not. It's actually nothing to do with any kind of UV light whatsoever. This light repairs your skin. So even if you've been out in the sun, I still come back and I put this on, and honestly, it has such an impact. I really can't rave about it enough. My skin just feels so much healthier, and it definitely just feels so much brighter. It amazes me the difference that it makes. So that is one of my non-negotiables, which I absolutely swear by. One of the other things that I've started doing is making sure that I keep on top of my vitamins. So this is the Lumite, and I take the morning ones. These are the morning ones. You take 4 in the morning and you take 4 at night. And again, these just make me feel so much better. The nighttime ones have got magnesium in, so I sleep so much better. The daytime ones are great for energy. My next non-negotiable is exercise. I exercise 4 times a week, and I've just found a program which I really, really love. It's called Fit by Coco, and I think I pay about £35 a month for it, and I do it from home. So she has different kind of programs that she goes through, and she puts programs up most days, but I tend to follow that for the 4 days. She has 4 which she recommends that you don't miss out on, so they're the ones that I tend to stick to, and they're between 30 minutes and 45 minutes long. So what I tend to do is, before I get in bed, I know that I'm going to work out the next morning, I'll check how long the session is, and then I'll just set my alarm accordingly. So I generally get up about 6:30 and I go down and I work out first thing. And it's kind of a Pilates, but it's with weights as well. So it's strength and Pilates, which I feel has made such a difference. I think, again, when you get to my age, I think using weights is actually really, really important. It combines all the traditional strength and Pilates workouts, but with the added extra of just using weights. And at first I started using just £2 ones, and I'm working my way up, and honestly I just feel so much better. My arms feel more toned, trying to getting rid of that bingo wing that I used to really worry about. That seems to be going. It's not gone completely, but it's made such a difference. So yeah, exercising 4 times a week, using my mask again at least 4 times a week, taking my vitamins. Every morning I get in the shower and I stand underneath the hot running water, and I feel super grateful, and I run through the list of things in my head that I'm grateful for that day. Generally things like just so grateful for hot running water, being able to have the roof over my head, being able to be fit and healthy, having a job which is doing well at the minute, and just all these things that I think if you say out loud or just inside your head while you stood in the shower, it just lifts your mood and it just makes you feel so much more brighter and positive. There's always going to be things that you feel a bit rubbish about. There's always going to be the odd thing that kind of knocks that kind of glow, but I think gratitude makes such a difference. So it's another non-negotiable that I do every single day when I get in the shower. I've got several podcasts that I listen to, which I will list below, and again, some of them are on things like manifestation, and then others are to do with work. But I feel that if I'd walk the dog and listen to one of those, then that just starts my day off the right way too. Don't get me wrong, we all have days where we're feeling a bit rubbish, but I just feel that doing these little steps just makes such a difference. I mentioned earlier about the house. I know a lot of you will be thinking, you know, how has she managed to do it and things like that. Basically, I got a mortgage advisor. It's quite tricky when you're self-employed, but one of the main things that I did actually was got myself a really, really good accountant, and she has changed my life around. I'll link her details below. If you're looking for a good accountant, then I can't recommend her enough. She's totally changed things for me. I went through a phase in business where I just wasn't clued up on what I was meant to be doing. I went VAT registered, I went turned into a limited company, and all these things that you don't get taught at school. So I've learned so much over the past couple of years and just become more self-sufficient. I think being married for 20 years, I used to rely on my ex-husband to do all these things, to pay the gas and electricity, you know, to take care of all the bills in the house. And then all of a sudden I've had to do all that myself. And it's actually been quite refreshing just having to get on top of that, and now knowing what kind of gas I use, what electricity I use, things like that, because before I had no idea. So yeah, I got a mortgage advisor and he really helped, as well as my accountant, to get everything in order. And then we looked at different options and I managed to get a mortgage on this, so that basically what we had to do was I had to remortgage so that I could then pay half of the equity from the house to my ex. It was a tricky one because we bought this house at a great price because it needed so much work doing to it, and we've done so much work to it and we've spent a lot of money on it. So I guess the equity that's in there now is really to do with the money that we've spent on it. So I had to give him half of that and I had to remortgage to be able to do that. So I'm just in a position now where I'm trying to pay the mortgage off as much as possible. I'm trying to repay a little bit extra each month because, again, seeing the amount that I actually owe and the interest that you get charged over the 25 years is just bonkers. So just so many life lessons over these past couple of years, and it has been life-changing. It really has made me a stronger person, and there's definitely been days where I've, you know, cried myself to sleep, but there's also been so many positive days, and it has taken, I would say, probably these 2 years to feel back in control of everything and just in a happy place. But I am now so much happier, and the kids are happy. They live with me most of the week and then they'll stay with my ex a couple of days as well. But they're old enough to come and go as they want to, so they choose what they want to do. Some nights they might just go out for dinner with him and then they'll come back and stay at mine. And it's just, yeah, I just let them have the freedom that they want to, rather than having like a structured routine for them, because they don't need that. They're old enough to be able to just come and go as they want to. But yeah, I think I've kind of covered everything off with you that I wanted to talk to you about. I'm sure there's much more, but I just wanted this video to be a life update and just to talk through some of my non-negotiables if anybody else is in a similar position. If you are, then, you know, drop me a DM or leave me a comment below, because I'm always here to chat through things if anybody is looking for any advice. I can only speak from experience, but if anything that I've been through can help any of you, then that's, you know, obviously a positive as well. So I've got several videos planned over the next couple of months. Like I said, I've got my new microphone, which I haven't used at all in this video. I really need to get that sorted and get that working. I mean, the love of technology, that's something else that can take a while for me to get used to. So I need to get that done. This little corner here has really transformed the bedroom. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll have seen it on there, but I'll do another video to talk you through this little area. But it really is like a little sanctuary in my bedroom. I love coming up here. I like get ready in this corner, and then it's just such a cozy little spot. This curtain's made all the difference because I put this up to make a storage area behind, because I haven't got much storage since we've converted the loft. So this little storage area has made such a difference, because behind here are my suitcases and things like that that I can just kind of keep hidden away. So that's made such a difference. But I'm also going to film a house tour. I know I keep saying this, but I'm definitely going to do it. I've already started making plans and kind of mapping out a little bit of time for that. So definitely watch out for that over the next few weeks. If there's anything else that you want me to talk about, if you've enjoyed any parts of this, then let me know. I'll also keep you updated on Pablo because he's actually going tomorrow now. We've made plans to take him through and get him dropped off. So again, there'll be lots of updates on my Instagram on that. I've saved a highlight with all the details on if you want to see more of Pablo's adventures. And I look forward to catching up with you next time.